Oh man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is? Tuesday. Brewsday, Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Ah, it's a good sound, isn't it? Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. It is DreZ along with Big Nate. Nate, I know you're good at fixing stations going off here. Do you want to run out there and work on
Yeah,
that while I
you talk.
one of our other stations in the building is off the air right now, and this alarm goes off when that happens. So then we run out and try and figure it out. Either way, my name is DreZ, and I did just return. Today is my first day back from Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival up in Columbus, Ohio. Hence me bringing back some beers from Columbus. And once you know it, bad boy right here, Columbus Brewing Company. The name is right in the name. The city's right in the name, I should say. I got the Bodie.
Bodie. I would go with Bodie.
Bodie double IPA. It's an 8.3% brewski and a 19.2 ounce can, which, if I remember correctly, didn't we figure out that that is a half a liter?
Or am I don't know.
Imagining
I'm
that?
terrible with the metric system, but that seems. I mean, if you're going to do 0.2, it seems like it's got to correspond with something.
Or maybe I just figured that out when I was over in Europe, because they're like a proper pint, if you will. I'm using air quotes. You know, here in America, it's the 16-ounce glasses, but over there, it's slightly bigger. And I thought it was like 20 ounces, but now I'm thinking about it, I think it's a half a liter pour, which I believe is probably 19.2, which is probably why these cans come in that that measurement.
I didn't even read the side. You handed it to me, and I was like, "Huh, this is a tall boy."
No, I'm wrong. So a half a liter is 16.9 ounces. So where's the 19.2?
So would this make this what 750 ml or
567
okay?
ml?
Okay, so that corresponds to nothing.
All right. Yeah. All right. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I have noticed that they've been putting beers in cans that are 19.2. And more often than not, I feel like they're big beers. Like this is 8.3%. I know that the ones around here, you see like the Voodoo Ranger and that what's the one with the bear on it? That's also another big beer
It's
like
the
that.
Is it Goose Island? It's the Tropical Bear Hug.
The bear hug, yeah.
I think that might be Goose Island. We need to find someone who will pour a or can 105.3 ounce.
Well,
it's a party ball.
I was waiting for it, but I guess since we're on the topic of it, at Sonic Temple, the beers, the big boy beers, you know, your Buds and Stella Artois was the one. When I was going down that road, I was getting that out of the Bud Light, and trying to remember there was a third option, but 25-ounce cans. I don't think
whole extra ounce.
I hadn't seen that one yet. I mean, well, usually they're deuces, right? 22 ounces.
I've always seen maybe. I don't know. I don't buy beer at concerts if I can avoid it. And those are usually where you see those.
Yeah, I thought that they were usually 22. Maybe they are 24.
The only ones
ounces.
that I get are the 25 are usually the if it's a hot day out, I get the beach gelatos from Modelo, and those are 25 ounces.
Those big, the big ones.
But I don't buy them. I don't often have enough opportunity to buy the big cans. And that would also lead me to wonder what Foster's, because I've never bought a Foster's, even though it's Australian for beer.
Pretty sure that's a 32-ounce can.
Is that the big oil can?
Ones. Yeah.
So we can get a 105.3 is the point. We can do it. We have the science.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Seventh Sun Brewing Company Double India Pale Ale, Proliferous. It's 19.2 and 8.2% ABV. It's got this beautiful painting on it, but it also has this little message on the side. A mosaic hop-heavy dippa featuring layered flavors of tropical fruit and citrus, finishing with a satisfying piney bitterness. And that tropical, man, I opened the can, it hit me in the face. It was nice. It was like someone took a stick of juicy fruit and waved it right in my nose.
Very good, very good. So these beers, I actually acquired them at a local beer store up in Columbus. I think it was actually called the Corner Beer Store, and it was right across the corner from the Hangover Easy breakfast cafe, which had a long line, as one would imagine. I'm sure it is quite delicious, but it was cool going into a beer store. You know, it's always whenever you travel, you try and hit the breweries as well, but it's also cool to hit a beer store because then you get an idea of what else is around. And these ones, as I equated to, I feel like these are probably distributed by the big boys, just like the Voodoo Rangers are down here. But it was a whole different variety of them, and
Yeah.
I've never had any of them, so I was like, well, let's get a show. And it was all Ohio. In fact, this round is even all Columbus, so kind of works out pretty good in that regard too.
It's kind of like when you cross the Mississippi, you're not going to find a Sheets. Different flavor, different area.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be the case with all beer, depending on
like
what
that.
region you go to.
It's a great way, I think, to get to know the area. Of course, last time I was in Ohio, I was under 21, so any Ohio flavor I've had has been brought by you or distributed by the big boys, like you say.
Well, you're long overdue, man. Well, yeah. So Ohio was it was a road trip up there, and the road trip did not go quite as planned. Be it that, so initially BB was going to come and do the whole festival with me. She wasn't able to because of work stuff. She was going to come later. So then I was like, well, how are we going to do this? Or am I going to drive up and you're going to fly up? And a one-way flight to Columbus was like $400. So we're like, I don't think we want to do that. So then I had a buddy that was going, my buddy Boyd, and his wife as well. They got married last year. So they were going to go. So I was like, well, can I just hitch a ride up with you guys? And then she'll drive up and whatever. So that worked out well, except I don't know if it was something I did bringing down a suitcase to load the car or what, but I actually somehow threw my back out on the way to the festival, which if you've ever thrown your back out, it sucks, and it's debilitating. But man, there's not much worse timing than if you're about to do a 4-day rock festival. I couldn't believe it. And usually, I mean, this is only the second time, but it's instant. And it's like something happens and all of a sudden, oh my gosh. But with this case, I got in the car and we made our first stop. We got out to get gas and I got up. I was like, oh man, my back's kind of bothering me. And then I was like, well, oh, that's weird. Got back in the car, got out at the next stop. We stopped for, I don't know, pee break or whatever. And it was even worse. And then on the third stop, we got out to get some food, some dinner, and then I could barely walk. So I don't know if it was the seats or if, like I said, if I brought down that suitcase and it just sort of tweaked something that was funny. And then I don't know, man, but not off to a good start, to say the least. So I just was doing, as soon as we got to the Airbnb, I was just trying to do all sorts of stretches. And day one, I was a little worse for wear, which sucked because day one was to me the big day of being in the pit in the thick of it, because that was the punk day. You got Pennywise, Anti-Flag, Suicidal was that day. Oh man, so needless to say, I didn't get as rambunctious in any pits and stuff as I have in years past, because I was slapped in the face and reminded that I am an older participant,
elder statesman of the punk scene.
I guess so, man. I mean, geez Louise.
Yeah, that's and the other thing, I mean, with back pain like that, it's one of those, like, you're constantly aware of it. It's not like, oh, I broke my toe, but as long as I'm not walking, like standing, sitting, it's all uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, laying down is the only time.
Yeah.
Like I was able to sleep at night.
Although if
so
you
that was
crowd
good.
surfed, you probably would have been okay.
If only.
Look, just carry me through, people.
Oh man, I could go on a whole crowd surf rant right now if we wanted to, but no, I did not do any crowd surfing because I know better. I am aware that there are weight limits when it comes to this. There are some people that apparently aren't aware of that, and a lot of them pay for it over the weekend, I'm pretty sure. But hopefully nobody got seriously injured with the crowd surfing. But it was certainly, there was an abundance of it. I posted a video. Did you see the video
I
of the
saw the video.
Deftones?
And then I heard, I think it was Charlie complaining about it this morning on Rover.
Oh yeah,
There's too many crowd surfers.
I mean, it definitely, if you're not used to it, it can put a damper on the evening. I know that both.
I've gotten kicked in the back of the head before. It's not a blast.
Well, it's one thing like and this is one thing I almost wanted to record a little PSA video and post about it. So I wear steel-toed boots. And that's because I've lost a toenail wearing Chucks at a festival like this. And that's no fun. When your feet getting stepped on, it hurts. So you wear steel-toed boots, you don't have to worry about that. Somebody steps on your foot, you barely even notice. That being said, I know that if you're wearing steel-toed boots, you definitely do not crowd surf, because that would be the meanest thing in the world. And that being said, I feel like, and rightfully so, the most popular shoe worn for crowd surfers, if you had to guess.
Doc Martens.
No, that would be along the boot. Legs.
Okay. Chucks.
Chucks, of course. Chucks are brilliant because not only are they not gonna hurt super bad, but they're also strapped in pretty good. They're hard.
Yeah,
Chucks are
you're
hard
not going
enough
to lose your shoe.
Chucks are hard enough to get on and off when you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that you worry about. If you're wearing just some like skater van slip-ons, you're gonna lose a shoe.
They're gonna come right off.
Yeah, so that's a factor that needs to be considered if you are thinking about participating in the crowd surfing. I know that a lot of people aren't big fans of it. My wife and Boyd's wife being two of them, so once we're standing with the ladies, we were always trying to not get too close or in the line of fire when it comes to the crowd surfers. And I didn't want to have to deal with them either, because guess what? I just threw my back out. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to carry people over my head at that time. So yeah, I didn't get as close up or as physical at these shows as I usually have in the past. But again, maybe it just comes with age, I suppose.
No, it's to me, the crowd surfing thing, I understand it to a degree. It's kind of that like, let's go all out mentality, but it drives me nuts as someone who's like trying to focus. It's the same reason like I don't go into the pit. Like I either have to be in the very front or like I'm on the back side of the pit because I want to watch the show. Like you've got these tickets, you've done all this work to get there. I want to see the damn show.
That is one of the tricks I use is you get to the pit, and then if you cut through the pit, you can be, like you were saying, on the back side of the pit where a crowd surfer won't fall through. A very rare occasion, people will be like, server, and then they'll kind of bind together. The people in the pit will carry them through the pit area. But more often than not, if you grab that spot, you don't usually have to deal with crowd surfers. And that is a fun little tip and a nice little trick for sure. No doubt about that. When it comes to performances, day one standout was Pennywise, without question. That is the closest I got to the stage and the most rambunctious. There was even a fight that broke out in front of me. You know, that happens. It's not
a punk show until someone's fighting.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. I just saw arguing, and then all of a sudden I did see this one dude just cold clock the other. He went down, and then they like pulled him out because he was bleeding, and then they were trying to get it was basically a skinny guy and a big guy. It was the skinny guy that clocked the other one and knocked him out.
He had
not
one
out cold,
shot. He
knocked him
took
down.
it.
But then the security guards were trying to get the other guy to come out. Like, all right, come on, man, you got to get out too. And he refused. So that's when it got really gnarly, when there was security guards jumping the barrier to come into the crowd and were like putting this guy in a headlock, taking him down the ground, wrestling him. And it was funny because like everybody's backing up. And me, I'm almost acting like it's not happening. I'm just watching the band and rocking out. And then, in fact, I even just was like, all right, well, let me get this out of even my peripherals. It was happening right in front of me. I went past them because I was like, well, now I can get closer to the stage. I just went past them and then just had it to my back. Didn't even care anymore. I'm watching the band. So I don't know. I'm assuming they eventually got that guy out. It took some sure it took he was not going to go without a
No.
fight. Clearly, he was a big Pennywise fan. I'm
Yeah,
sure. Didn't
well,
want to.
and festival tickets, man, ain't cheap.
Yeah, if you're getting kicked out day one,
Yeah,
if you're
not gonna
losing that
fly.
your 4-day wristband day one, that's quite a mistake right there.
I mean, I wonder if it's like cruise ships, if like until the police can come round everyone up in a paddy wagon, if they have like a holding cell at the venue,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
be no problem at incarceration.
That's true. Oh yeah, and that's some good convenience. Let's go ahead and untap these beers, and then I want to talk a little bit more about some festival stuff and whatnot.
All right, I'm gonna go first. The Seventh Son Brewing Company Proliferous is from can to drinking, just all around a fun experience. It looks like this is like some sort of watercolor print. I don't know. There's no like actual pattern to it, but it's got a lot of earthy tones and sky tones. Kind of dig it. I like their logo. The beer, you pop the top and you just kind of hit with this tropical smell, and you think, this might be a little overly fruited, but no, it's phenomenal. It's crisp. It's got those tropical notes for a DIPA. It's not as strong as I would expect, so it'd be a real easy drinker. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
4.5, not too bad. From Columbus Brewing Company, the Boda. But what did we say? Bodie. This one's not too bad. And when I checked Untapped to A, see if I've had any of these before, and B, look at the scores, I think they were all right around a 4. I think a couple of them might have been a hair over a 4 and a couple of them right under. So in that regard, I was kind of about what I was thinking this would be. Frankly, taste-wise, I think it's a little lower than that. It might just be a 3.75, but the fact that you're getting a big can and it's a big boy, I do like that. So I will round it out to being a 4. I mean, the lacing is there. I mean, it's about what you would expect, but it's nothing to write home about. It's nothing really amazing. It might even be a 4.25, but I gotta just hope that maybe this next round might be a little bit better. We'll see. Either way, I bought, like I said, the standout for me day one was Pennywise. I ended up buying a Pennywise t-shirt. Of course, I had to get a Sonic Temple t-shirt. I'm wearing that one here on the old Facebook Live. If you want to check that one out, it looked like, I mean, it was almost overwhelming how many designs they had to choose from. It was I think it went up to, here's which shirt do you want? A, B, C, D. I think it went up to H, I, J. I think it went up to K. How many letters is that?
That's
Is that 15 or so? 12? A, B, C, D.
It's like 10.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. It was.
That's
And for somebody that's so
smart.
indecisive, it was very difficult for me.
And that's a discussion you and I kind of had behind the scenes with Sonic Temple. Is their initial art rollout was not as stellar. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as stellar as their second art rollout. So I'm sure they had a lot to play around with.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, I think they even had kind of like, so because the first one, it was the black, white, and red. Were the skull, like kind of like skull people, like almost skeletons? So they had some of that, and then they also had the ones with like like a moth or butterfly or
like
whatever kind of vibe.
The second one gave me like a Silence of the Lambs vibe, and I was like, "Oh, that is just badass."
Yeah, they had a little bit of everything there, no doubt about it. And I don't know, maybe I should have. Then when we're leaving, the guys selling the bootlegs in the
Always the
parking
people in the parking lot.
That being said, it actually looked pretty good. It looked like one that would be up on the wall inside. It wasn't just
he had row L.
The iron on, of the lineup and the main. Like, it's usually what you get with those, but it was actually decent. My buddy got one of those, but I had already bought and paid the 3 times as much for the actual
official
ones.
merchandise.
So, yeah, the OG merch. So I got that. I got this shirt. I got a Pennywise shirt, and then the other band that was standout enough to buy a shirt for. If you had to guess, who do you think it was?
I don't know. It's such a killer lineup.
It was a good lineup.
I mean, I want to go Rob Zombie, but
that's a valid.
That's what I would go with.
Zombie was good. His merch, I mean, I just saw him and I bought a
Say,
shirt last
I would say he's probably recycling a lot of
Well,
merch right now.
it wasn't, but it was just, I mean, one of them was just like him standing there giving the finger, and on the back it just said like, I give 0 Fs. And I'm kind of beyond that point in my life where I like to wear
Sophomoric,
vulgar band t-shirts. I mean,
That's like my
to a certain extent, but
suicidal tendency T-shirt. I can never wear because it's got Charles Manson on the front and then the F word on the back.
you quit wearing that one?
Well, it's weird when you're dropping your kids off at daycare and you've got Charlie Manson on the front of your shirt.
You might get some judgment thrown your way, but no, actually it was big standout. It was one of the bands that hadn't played in a long time. In fact, I know Avenged Sevenfold hadn't played. They played a couple, like, I guess the weekend before in Rockville, and that was their first in like 6 years. This band also said that they hadn't played in 5 years, although now I've done research and maybe they did a one-off gig in 2020 before the pandemic. But prior to that, they hadn't toured since 2018. So basically it was their first show, or kicking off their first hoorah in like five years or so. And that's what Josh said. He said, this is our first show in 5 years. So yeah, dude.
Oh,
Queens of the Stone Age. Queens of the Stone Age was awesome.
That makes sense.
And their shirt was awesome too. So I had to get one of those. So I am going to play my favorite Queens of the Stone Age song that they did play, which was awesome. So we'll do that and we'll come back and we'll see if we can get this other radio station back on the air. I don't know if you can hear that siren.
Everything's on fire.
It's Brewsday Tuesday right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.